just shot kickers. Coach,
Dude, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
No, get out of there.
Holy crap, go! Let's go!
Kickers. Wow, it's probably a name that I've said about 1,000 times over the past 3 years. I had the privilege of hunting this deer 3 years. The first sighting that we ever had of kickers was in 2020. Jason had actually tagged out that year and was on the permission farm hunting some does, and kickers walks out. And at the time we didn't even know he was on the farm or in the area. And he walks by Jason at about 35 yards, and Jason, all he could do was sit there and watch him. He was about a 145-inch 4-year-old that year. And he ended up, from where I actually killed kickers this year, that was about a mile, around a mile from where he was first seen. So the permission farm where Jason seen him on 2020, he left there and went to about a mile away on the adjoining permission farm, and we hunted him there some, got some pictures of him. This would have been all in November, middle of November towards the end, and hunted him during the 2020 season there on the permission farm, and never got a crack at him. He was a good deer, but we knew going into 2021 season this deer was going to be big, and we named him Kickers. So heading into the 2021 season, he had moved to a 75-acre farm that we have permission to hunt, and a lot of it is pines on the top side, and it drops down into some bottom with some oaks in it, and but it's mostly standing pines. But we've hunted it for years, and we've never killed a big deer off of this place, but we felt like if we set it up the right way, we'll be able to hold big deer. And from where Jason had seen this deer, it's about a mile, and that summer, 2021 summer, he started showing up on camera, eating out of the protein feeder there. Fed him until about the middle of June, and he started leaving. I planted my food plot in soybeans every year, but the farmer, the property that adjoins to the 75-acre farm is about a 45-50 acre soybean field. So Kickers, he'd go to the soybean field, and we seen him on the soybean field that summer of 2021, and so going into the 2021 season, I was excited. He was at the feeder, eating corn, protein, and going to the bean field, and I also had permission to hunt that bean field. And going into the season, he didn't show up as much. I started hunting my food plot where I'd gotten pictures of him all summer, not knowing that he was staying down on the bottom end and was going to the bean field adjoining the property that we were hunting. So I started hunting Kickers 2021 season in the food plot there. I hunted almost every night of September. And this leads into a life lesson that I've learned with Kickers. Not only did that deer teach me tactics on how to go after a big deer like that, like Kickers, but it also, the Lord taught me a lesson through this. I was sitting there hunting the September season. I was sitting there hunting during September, and man, Kickers, like I said before that, leading up to it, Kickers was he was just on my mind a lot. I'd get off of work, I'd be like, what can I do to make to where I can kill Kickers, you know? And when the season came in, I was hunting Kickers. It was just Kickers this, Kickers that. And as I was sitting there hunting one evening, I had a little devotional there with me and pulled it out and was reading. And all of a sudden, the voice of God just struck me. He said, Ronnie, Kickers is not the most important thing in your life. And it just hit me. And right there, I confessed of him being number one in my life. And from there on, I promised the Lord that I was going to keep him number one in my life, no matter how big a deer is, and no matter how much I'm taking up with it. God is going to be number one, and my family is going to be second. And right then and there in that tree stand, I committed that deer to the Lord, and I said, Lord, if you want me to kill this deer, it's going to happen, but if not, I'm okay with that. And the crazy thing what happened was as big as Kickers was and as much as I was taken up in him, my desire to hunt Kickers just kind of left. And that may sound strange, but my focus shifted on some other deer that weren't quite as big as him. And during that time, backing up now to this was about towards the end of September of 2021. He stopped showing up and went to the permission farm where we were getting pictures of him and hunting in 2020. And we didn't see him again, weren't getting pictures of him. And it was November the 16th. I'd been getting pictures of some good deer on the permission farm, and Kickers at that point was just non-existent. We didn't know where he was, and had no idea at the time he was on the permission farm. But going into November the 16th, it was a cold morning, 30 degrees. I slipped up in the stand. It was beautiful, frost on the ground, and I started seeing deer right off the bat. And at about 8:30, I had got a picture of a 10-point on my dad-in-law's property that I was trying to kill as well. And I'd been bouncing back from dad-in-law's property to the permission farm, hunting these two places, because the permission farm is a good spot. In November, it's kind of a funnel, and we hold the does, and the does pull the bucks through there. And so I'd been bouncing back and forth, and that morning about 8:30, I got pictures of that deer at dad-in-law's. And I text Jason and Gary, and I was like, man, I can't win. I'm at one spot and my shooter shows up, and the other spot, well, another shooter shows up. So I'd shot a squirrel with my bow, and I told Gary and Jason, I said, I'm gonna get down. I'm just gonna go to work and try to get a game plan on what I'm gonna do. And I got down, walked over there, and picked up a squirrel. And I was going to take a picture of it and send it to Gary and Jason, bragging about how I shot the squirrel. Well, as I picked this squirrel up, lay him on a log, I hear something coming. And I look up, and 45 yards, here comes Kickers. He's coming straight at me. I'm standing on the ground, and I'm in some oaks where it's pretty wide open there, and the leaves have already dropped. This has been the last, November 16th, so he's walking straight towards me, and I froze for a second. And I was like, man, I gotta kill this deer, even if I can't get him on camera. So I had my GoPro on my side right here, but I'd never even thought about turning it on. And he's walking to me. All this stuff is just going through my head. I reach down on the ground, pick up my bow, slowly as I can, with not as much, I wasn't trying to move fast. And the deer, he's just walking right to me. By the time I get my bow up and get my arrow knocked, he is 25 yards in closing. And as he's walking towards me, I decide, look, he's facing right at me, so I'm like, I'm just gonna shoot him right center chest cavity and let that arrow just eat. And he's walking, and he gets about 5 yards from me. I mean, he is on top of me, still hasn't seen me. The sun is coming down from behind me like this, so I think that helped, and the wind was perfect. And he walks up, and I drew back. And when I did, it just startled him. And he hopped about 20 yards and stopped and walked away from where he came from. And I knew that he was going to be around 45 yards when I get a shot. I set my sight on 40 yards. And he stopped at 45 yards and turned around and looked back at me. Meantime, I'm freaking out. I'm like, man, I thought I wasn't even supposed to kill this deer. And it goes to show that the Lord is in control, and he can show you his plan for us, and his way of telling us when we're going to kill a deer and like that is beyond our imagination. And as I drew back, he stopped and turned, quartering away from me some, and I shot, and the arrow looked good. My Luminok, I was like, he's done. And the arrow's flying, and all of a sudden it hits a branch about 5 yards before it gets to him, just skids over his back. And oh man, my heart sank, and I'm thinking, I'm not supposed to kill this deer. So that was the last that I seen Kickers on the hoof, and of the 2021 season. He went back to the 75-acre farm where he had summered, and spent the January there. And I knew going into this season I wasn't going to get too caught up with him. I'd promised the Lord that Kickers is his, and if he wants me to kill him, it is what it is. If the neighbor kills him, I'm not going to stress out about it. If I'm supposed to kill him, it's going to happen. So going into the 2022 summer feeding, I started feeding protein, and he starts hitting the feeder again, and he's a giant. So I knew with the previous year of history we've had with him, where he was in that area, the neighbor planted beans again, and I planted beans in my food plot.
He's over there Instagramming. We got to give 4S a shout out.
Hey, if y'all haven't checked out 4S, check them out. They got a lot of good products. They also have a YouTube channel where they give you a lot of tips on their feeding supplements they got. And they also have a lot of information on planting seeds and stuff like that. They're on Facebook too. Y'all check them out. Huh?
Make America great again. We out here getting the 2022 season started, planting food plots today.
The middle of July, Kickers left. So I knew he was going to be in that bean field. Jason and I walked back to the bean field one evening, and we glassed it. Sure enough, Kickers pops out, and he's even bigger on the hoof. So we knew that he was going to be hitting that bean field. And the 2021 season, he had bedded on my dad's place, which was about 500 yards from where I actually killed him, and was hunting him in the 2021 season. Well, this year he stayed right there in about a 5-acre spot. I didn't know this until after I killed him, but he stayed right there in that 5-acre spot. He had bedding, he had water, and he had the bean field, as well as the protein feeder and where I was feeding him. So I went back to the bean field one evening, and I hadn't seen him in about 2 weeks. And sure enough, he pops out, and he's a giant. Yes, sir, there he is. Kickers, baby. I sat there and videoed him for a little bit. I was back from the bean field from a good ways, so he was a good ways out, as you can see on the video. But I was excited. And the middle of July, he left the feeder and would not show up to protein, which he done in 2021 too. And I left the cameras where they were for about 2 weeks. And August the 8th, I went and took some cameras and moved him down where he was coming out to the bean field. And sure enough, I started getting pictures of him. And I'd poured out some 4S draw to keep him there. And that stuff is very effective. It's a good product by 4S that it draws deer in, and they can smell it from a long ways. And so August the 8th, I go move the camera, put the 4S draw out, and right away he starts showing up. And I start getting a lot of daylight pictures of him. He's showing up consistently, and in the daylight, he's staging in there before he goes to the bean field. So I'm thinking I'm gonna kill him right here because it's his staging area. His bedding area is 150 yards from where I'm feeding the 4S draw. So on the 17th, he sheds his velvet of August, and we're 3 weeks out from the season. So I'm thinking, man, I got 3 weeks to pattern this deer, because he should be changing if he shed his velvet. Well, he didn't. He kept showing up in the daylight. He was just there all times of the day. He was there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was just comfortable in there. I kept that 4S draw there, and he kept eating that before he'd go to the bean field. And backing up, I planted my beans in the food plot, the 4S beans, I think it was the 1st of July. So they were a little bit behind the farmer's beans, and he had already established his pattern going to that bean field. And I planted the record rack beans from 4S in my food plot, and It was August the 20th I went in, and that was after he shed, and I was going to cut a few trees down to make it where I could shoot in there come bow season, and it just freaked him out. He came in, his running mate came in on the 20th, but he didn't show up. And I was thinking, oh man, this 6.5-year-old deer now, he don't like what I done close to his bedroom. And August 23rd, he shows up, and he's sitting there, he's just watching. He knows something's different. And that was the last picture I got of him. And August the 26th, I ran down there one evening to the food plot, and was going to see if Kickers was on the food plot. Sure enough, he walks out. I'm still a week and a half out from the season, so I know going into the season that he's coming to my food plot now, and I should have a shot at killing him. So opening day comes, and Saturday evening I go hunt my food plot. I need a northeast wind to get down in there where I think he's bedding. And so going into the season, I hadn't got pictures of him since August the 23rd, and this is September the 10th. Opening day of deer season, I go hunt the food plot, I seen a spike. So I'm feeling like I'm out of the game. Haven't got pictures of him in about 2 weeks. I just felt like I was out of the game, you know. I didn't know where he went. I started moving cameras, and I couldn't get pictures of him. And he was all along this whole time we've been hunting Kickers, he was finicky about a camera. Anytime he's seen a camera, he didn't like it, and very seldom he would show back up. But with me getting summer pictures of him, I'd back the camera up and put it high and away far enough to where he couldn't make eye contact with it or see it. So yeah, going into the season, I hunted that night, seen a spike, and I just felt like I was out of the game. And I was telling Jason and Garrett, I'm like, this deer ain't back here. I don't know where he went. And I didn't hunt again. I moved cameras around, put more 4S out, and I went in to my food plot there and planted a fall crop there of chicory, clover, and that type of stuff, and was hoping that would pop up and the new growth would get him coming in there, but it didn't. And so Thursday, September the 15th, I talked to Jason about it, and he's just like, man, you should just go in there and hunt Kickers. I mean, just because he's not in front of your camera doesn't mean he's not in there. So that's what I done. Thursday evening, I go in there, and this is what happened. All right, guys, real quick, going in to hunt Kickers tonight. Still haven't got a picture of him or haven't seen him in about 2.5 weeks, but I'm gonna go in there where he had been showing up in the daylight every day before he quit coming there. I moved the camera so it's not in that area, but he could be coming through there now. So we're gonna go give it a shot. The wind is perfect, east-northeast, which is right where he's gonna be coming from the northwest, so our wind's gonna be going down, and I'll get underneath on the bottom side of where he's coming through at. And red moon and everything is supposed to be like 60 degrees tonight, so windy, and it's perfect condition for me to get in there with the wind. It'll help keep the noise down. We're gonna be using a climber, so we're gonna get in there and see if we can make it happen. Fingers crossed. 6 o'clock. And here after kickers this evening, this is where I last got pictures of it. And I haven't got pictures of him in about 3 weeks. But he was coming through here regular, going up to the bean field, and almost every day. And it was about 2 weeks after he shed his velvet too, so we're in here this evening. I haven't had cameras in here in probably a week and a half. So I'm gonna be watching to my left and to my right. He might come through this bottom going to the food plot, or he might be coming through these pines here going up. And this is kind of a staging area before they go up into the beans, so I'm hoping he comes right in here. He should be. If he comes in and does what I want him to do, it's gonna be a 25-yard shot. So we'll get locked in, get quiet, sit down, say a quick word of prayer, and we're gonna hope for the best. God in heaven, as I come before you just now, Lord, I thank you for this day. Thank you for your goodness to me. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your son Jesus who died on the cross to save me from my sins, where I can have eternal life through you. Lord, I hope beyond the grave. That is what keeps us going throughout the day. Lord, I ask that you would just be with us this evening as a hunt. I pray, Lord, that for safety, and that you would bless my hunt this evening as you see fit, Lord. You know I'm in here hunting kickers, and if I'm lucky enough to get him, Lord, I pray that you would receive all the glory and the honor, and your name would be glorified through it all. Lord, I ask that you would just be with the other hunters out there this evening. Just bless them, Lord. I pray for a successful hunt for them as well. Just go with us tonight. We commit all these things to you, Lord, in your name. Amen. So after I got set up and in there and everything, the evening's rolling by. I'm just sitting there enjoying the evening, and I'm just hoping that Kickers is in the area and still bedding where we had figured he was. And the evening rolls by. I didn't see a deer, and I started to take my camera equipment down, and I'd had my mic on, and I was taking it down, put it in my backpack, and I hear footsteps, and he's 20 yards from me closing. So right away I'm thinking, oh, that's Kickers. And sure enough, I grab my bow and swing it around, and when he pops out in those pines where I was hunting, it got dark early, and shooting light ended at 8:13, and when I heard those footsteps, it was around 8 o'clock. And he walks in, and I'm on the edge of the pines on the last row, and so when he pops out, I can easily see him. I go, oh man, that's Kickers. And I had the camera on, as you can see, but the frame was just too dark, and I didn't have time to set the light, and I didn't have time to set the lighting right on the camera. And so he walks out, and when you can hear me draw back, my arrow pops off of my wrist, and I stop the arrow, and I pull back up, let up, and knock the arrow again. And he's at 11 yards when this happens, and so he's moving back out. He's angling away from me, and he gets to about 15, and I draw again. And when I drew, it done the same thing. The knock had popped off the string, and the arrow slid down. I stopped it again, knocked it again. Well, little did I know, my quiver had got jammed in the ground, and the knock had gotten separated. And when I clipped it in, I just didn't pay no attention to it. And from now on, this is also, once you get in the stand, draw your bow back. I wished I would have, because I could have killed him there, and we could have seen the luminok fly on camera. But so I knocked the arrow again for the third time, and he's walking out, and he's at about 20 yards. And I drew back, and I had to squat down to get underneath the branch, and I couldn't see my pin. Or I could just see part of it, just a little speck of it. And I centered him up in the housing, felt good about the shot, and shot. And when I did, you can just hear that thwack. And I knew right away I hit him good. And as you can hear, he runs off, and everything goes quiet and vanishes. So right away I called Jason.
I just shot kickers. Coach, Jake, dude. I don't know. I got a complete pass through. It sounded like I hit him in the gut, so I just made sure I wasn't on his shoulder. I didn't even get him on video because it's too dark. But I don't even care. I just shot kickers.
Are you serious, babe?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
That's freaking awesome, babe. Yeah, they shot kickers.
I didn't get it on video though.
Are you kidding me?
It was too dark, but I don't care. The story is good enough that, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes, baby.
I'm not sure where I hit him. I just know I hit him.
You just know you hit him.
Yes.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Shaking like a leaf.
I'm about to.
Holy cow.
I'm about weak.
Alright guys, so I'm going to recap what just happened. I'm at the truck right now. So, I will apologize about the footage because I was not able to get it off. In those pines there, it gets dark earlier than it does out in the open. I had plenty of shooting light as far as for me to see to shoot the deer, but it was just, I got him in frame, but you can't hardly see it, and I left the camera rolling just so that I could get the sound, the shot, or whatever. And when I went to draw back, my arrow popped off my nock. Don't know why. I should have drew back with that arrow. That's one of the reasons why when you get in the stand, knock the arrow, draw your bow back, just to be safe. And I didn't do that. And it just so happened I knocked an arrow that I had it knocked last night as well when I was hunting. But anyways, it done that twice, and the third time I was able to get drew back and the arrow stayed knocked, and I made a shot on him. I went and looked at the arrow. I snuck down, was real quiet, went and looked at the arrow. It's covered in blood. Backing up a little bit. When I shot, the shot felt good, and it just blew right through him. I think I hit him perfect, honestly. But the arrow's covered in blood. There's no guts on it, and either I hit that back artery or I just pinwheeled him. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna call my buddy Chad. He's gonna come down here or I'm gonna see if he's gonna come down with his dog, and then Gary and Jason, they're both gonna grab their thermals, and we're just gonna creep in there, keep the dogs on a leash, and just ease through there. It sounded to me like after he ran off, he went like 50 yards and just stopped, and I wonder if he just didn't die there. And but anyways, this is epic, y'all. This is, wow, I can't believe it. So I wasn't even able to get my reaction in there, but it was, oh my, I didn't even have time to react. It was just bam, he was right there on top of me. But anyways, we're gonna make some phone calls here, and we'll catch back up with y'all when we hit the track. All right, guys, we've rallied the troops. Everybody for Hearts for Outdoors, but Lewis is here. He's working this evening, but we got Chad here with the dogs, and we're about to go in there and see if we can't find him. So fingers crossed. I think we made a good shot on him, and hopefully he's landing there 40 yards. What do you think, Forrest?
Oh, he's dead. He's dead where you last heard.
come down, you walk right here. And when the second time,
This goes right behind our house, doesn't it?
yeah.
Where's the arrow? Go this one, 25 yards.
Right here's your arrow, Chad. See it? I think you went. I mean, he definitely.
I know it looks pink there. I was like, that's toast. And then I looked at the other side and it's a little red.
He came right through here and turned it up.
Wait.
Oh, that's good. Why is there so much hair? Oh, that ain't hair. Yeah, it is a little bit.
Stop right there.
Yeah, right here. Right here.
Doesn't matter where across the road. Because we ain't going to the shed, will we? Yeah, we are. We will. Are we? We're headed to the food park.
We're headed to this side, coming towards Joe's.
Wait. Hold up. He's burning and stuff.
He's dead.
He's dead. He's dead.
No, get out of
Right
here.
there.
Get out of here.
Where?
Right there. Right there. Let's go.
Let's go!
Holy cow. What a freaking beast. Dude. Freaking time.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's freaking go, dude! Woo! Congrats, man. Look at the body on this deer. Look at the rat. Look at the mass.
Oh,
I can't believe this.
good shot, Ronnie.
Right, you smoking. Look at that.
How many years you've been watching it?
This right here is what freaking dreams are made
That
out
thing
of.
is huge.
Let me tell y'all something.
He's
I have
gonna-
lost sleep over this deer.
He's gonna.
Trying to figure this deer out. And to put my hand on this deer for so long. Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
Woo!
That thing is.
Kansas.
Well, you deserve it.
Let me tell y'all something.
You've been
That
hunting.
right there is a 6.5-year-old Georgia legend.
So he was rubbing up a tree right there.
How much
Look
is that
at the Jason. Look how heavy he is.
Look at his mask right here.
Yeah.
That's a stud, dude. That thing is huge. How much is it gonna weigh?
That's a big old
Put
deer.
your hands on him.
That's the best one you ever got.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, that thing is mad.
Let's go. Finally.
14 points. Stud. Man, I'm not sure if I ever seen a
Look,
deer
he's
that
been
big in
rubbing
my
on.
life.
He's been rubbing on. That's what I heard. I heard something back there thrashing
You got
around,
it.
but I
Yeah,
thought it
it's
was
rubbing.
I thought it was a coon coming down a tree.
You see him rubbing.
He was fixing to go start running them things.
Look at the mass.
Did you know he was coming through there?
No, Cam, I haven't got pictures of him
His
in 4
tines are
weeks.
pretty long.
No way.
And right there is where I was getting
I
pictures
mean,
of him.
that time right there's over 9 inches.
It don't matter to me what he scores.
Cameras out. Did you still have cameras in there?
No, I took him out of there because he wasn't coming by.
That's why. 6.5 years old.
Look at the,
Oh.
y'all check out the body on this deer.
Yeah, he's
Oh, he's 200 plus easy.
240.
Yeah.
240, 260.
Tell him you got him close to Dooley County.
This is what I remembered seeing too. Was this G4? That's gonna break an inch, ain't he?
Yeah, that is gonna
How many
count.
points does he have? I ain't even counting yet. I think Cam done did.
I did.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
14.
14 points.
It's close to a Kansas deer you're ever gonna kill.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like a straight Kansas deer.
Are you in the GON thing?
I am.
'Cause you just won this week by a
G-
long shot.
Yeah, you just
Gio
smoked
just
this
called me yesterday, day before yesterday. Who was standing beside me when they called?
Me, Lewis, and Doug were there.
And they said they want to confirm my mailing address. Hey, how about this? So the guy calls me from Trails in Taxidermy, and he says, your turkey's ready. I said, all right, well, hopefully I'll be up there. I was kidding. I said, hopefully I'll be up there in 2 weeks, and I'll swap it out for $1.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Can you wrap your fingers around his base there?
They can just say touch.
Stud. Where did you hit him? Flip him on the other side. Looks like you're smoking.
You're just moving things.
Oh, it was back.
Oh, is it that?
I don't know that I've
Exodus,
seen one
baby.
that big yet.
Dude, you cleaned
life.
her out. That thing went a
probably
long
have.
way.
Is that an extra?
Absolutely.
And
Went all the way
entry.
through that deer.
Look at that,
One-
Chad. That forest that Grandpa got one time years ago.
look at the body.
You can't even make the picture make him look as big as
He's
mean,
got so much character.
Look at
it
the
ain't
mass
even-
on the G2 on his right side.
All right, guys. Well, since we calmed down a little bit and I can put sentences together, I'll try to tell y'all what's going on here. He didn't run that far. What do y'all think he ran? 40, 50 yards or so? And piled up right here. I absolutely smoked him. There's no doubt that was a Lord guided arrow because it wasn't, I couldn't see very good, and I just made the best of the situation that I had. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on video, but this deer is means a lot more to me than any video will be. We've had a ton of history with this deer. He is 6.5 years old this year. Jason had actually passed this deer up when he was 4 years old, because actually he didn't pass him up. I tell you about it, he was tagged out and wasn't able to shoot this deer. He said he was 145 inches roughly when he walked by him. And then last year I actually had missed this deer and he disappeared, came back here where I shot him later on in the season, but he just never came into daylight. And leading up to this summer, I fed him on the feeder there all summer until about July, last of July, and he just vanished. Started freaking out, moved cameras, figured out where he was, pinpointed him down here close to where I shot him, and I went in and tried to prep the tree to hunt about 2 weeks before the season came in. I was going to try to give him enough time to let it cool down and he would be comfortable coming in. And I cut too many trees down, and I didn't cut many to start with. It was like 3, and I cut them down, and he didn't like it. The first time he came to the camera, you could see he just wasn't having it. So he didn't. Last I got pictures of him was August 23rd. Today's September 15th, right?
Yeah.
And tonight was the first time I've seen him since then. Well, I take that back. There was a time I thought I seen him on the food plot, but I wasn't 100% sure. And this is only my second sit for him, and I had to wait on the right wind to get in here and hunt him. I needed a northeast east wind, and that's exactly what I got tonight. And guys, I'm telling y'all, I'm blessed. I thank the Lord for this opportunity right here. I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is what getting outdoors and enjoying something like this is just what it's all about. God made these outdoors for us to get out and enjoy. And he made these beautiful creatures. There's no doubt no man could ever come up with anything like this. I'm honored to be able to hunt this deer. These animals are just majestic. I'm telling y'all, it's just something about it that gets the blood pumping, and there's nothing like it. So we're gonna get him drug out. I got a lot of buddies that are wanting to see him. All my guys are here. This is my crew. I'm telling y'all, if you do this without friends, get some friends to do it with, because it makes it all that much more better. Gary's coming up here now with the 4-wheeler. We're gonna get him loaded up We're gonna take some more pictures of him tomorrow, and get a better look at him. But we're gonna throw a tape on him tonight, and like I said, go show some buddies.
69, 65,
Plus 11? Yeah. Plus 16.
yeah.
161.
Good boom, baby, let's go.
161.
Let's freaking go.
How?
How? Mass!
That is a giant! 161.
Let's go. Chad knew as soon as he seen it, he said that's 160.
See, there's that 1/8 on the spread.
Well, I guess my
161 and 1/8.
What you get?
I said
You-
163.
I guess 157 3/8.
I about knew that he was going to go over 160.
I knew he was going to go over 160. I honestly thought he was going to be pushing 165.
We scored.
161 and 3/8, 1/8.
Alright guys, well we got him out this morning and took some more better pictures of him. You can actually see what he is now. Just super massive deer. I'm super happy with him. First of all, I want to thank the Lord above for giving me this opportunity to take a deer of this caliber. It is a blessing and I'm thankful for it. And it's crazy to think that the chapter is closing on kickers, but it has closed, and I'm blessed to be able to be sitting behind him right now. We threw a tape on him last night, and we rough scored him at around 161, and he'll get officially scored here in the next few weeks. So but it doesn't matter about score. He's a special deer to me. We got a lot of history with him, like I've been saying all along, and he definitely means a lot to me. And was able to knock him down with the new Matthews here, sweet shooting bow. I was able to make a good shot on him then, and super blessed, like I said. And hopefully we can keep the trend here rolling on Hartsford Outdoors. There's a lot of bucks dropping in the area here. This week was a good week, and that's it for kickers. Like I said, the chapter is closed. I don't know what we're hunting next, but we're going to try to get on something else, and hopefully we can continue this trend. So we appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel. That would help us out, and we'll see you guys in the next video.